Well, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to start in just a few minutes. We've got to wait till the counters come back over. So please enjoy your meal, and we'll start in just a few more minutes, okay? Thanks.
No, that's still. No matter what they do, bring it on first.
Okay, we're going to get started here. If everybody would like to take their seats.
I just had to get my thingies here so I could see what I was doing. Well, we're pretty close to time. Have I got sound here? Can you hear me? Oh. Great, a sketchy chord. That makes the day. Yeah, it is a challenge. That's okay. We do challenge well here. We do it perfectly. Challenge is an opportunity for adventure. Is everybody here that's going to be in here? All aboard that's coming aboard. Isn't that what they say on the cruise lines? So, Diane, would you verify that we have a quorum so we can begin the meeting? Thank you very much. Yes. And thank you all for being here for the meeting. This is one of our most important things of the year, as you all know. So I am going to call this meeting to order at 12:10 p.m. on September 15th, 2019. And Reverend Stephen, if you would provide the invocation for us, please.
So let's just bring ourselves to center and remember who we are. As we come together today as the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living, we know that this community is blessed because we are here. We are grateful for the time that we share together, and we speak with love and calm unity. And every speaker and every word, every piece of paper is blessed from that place of divine harmony and wisdom. We are so grateful to have this center, to be part of it, and to come together as a spiritual family. We just bless our time together, bless every experience, and we walk on through the rest of our day with this same loving energy as we affirm it together by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you. Now, I just have to get a slide changed here so that we can, in your packet you have all the stuff I'm going to talk about. And you also have Reverend Stephen's outline of his minister's report. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is the election of the trustees. I'm going to give my report, and Reverend Stephen will then give his annual report, and then we'll go on to the other items on the agenda. So we'll move pretty quickly through this. Pat, if you want to switch the slide for me, please. So the first order of business is the election of the trustees that have been nominated, and that would be Nancy Yonley Coleman for a second 2-year term, Paula Peterson for a second 2-year term, and Nancy Yee for a second 2-year term. Now, according to the bylaws that we have in our facility for our center, the voting can be held by acclamation, which means we don't have to do yes, no, do you like people or not, because there are no floor nominations that will happen during this process. The balloting had already taken place. So there are only 3 candidates that are available for the 3 slots that are open. So I would like to ask now for all of our members who are here we do our voting process by the 3 C's, which is clarity, consensus, and commitment. So at this time, I would like to ask all of our members if they have clarity that these are the 3 people that they select to be their board members again this year. So all with clarity, please say yes. Raise your hand. Yes. Okay. And do we have consensus that these 3 individuals will be the board members? Yes. And we have commitment to have these 3 individuals serve. And so having been done, so it is that these individuals will now be your board members for the next 3 years. Thank you. I will say that neither, Nancy Yee is in China on a vacation that she and her husband take a couple of times. Well, this will probably be their last trip. Paula is returning, and Nancy Yonley could not be here today for personal reasons. She had intended to, but she could not be here. So we have that part done, so we'll move on to the rest of my report for you all. So Pat, next slide, please. So every year we get the operational statistics for our center, and as you can see, we added 17 new members over the course of the last year, which brings us to a total of 97 members as verified in June. That's an 18% increase in our membership over the past year. Our average weekly Sunday attendance had an 8% increase from the prior year, and we averaged 70 at every service since July 1 through June 30th of the last year. We had 9 classes taught, one of which was the 30-week class for the practitioner ones who are now in practitioner 2 this year. 2 workshops were provided, and 5 practitioners were teaching classes and workshops. Now, one of the practitioners was Reverend Stephen, but we counted him as a practitioner because it was easier to put it on this. So, moving on to the financial report. Our year-end revenue was $91,719. The year-end expense was $99,756, and we were over budget by $8,037 at the end of the cycle. However, we had unexpected unplanned expenses. We did a renovation of the men's bathroom, and the sinks and the commode replacement and everything happened. And then, of course, we added the LEC heating and air conditioning replacement, which was $9,200. Now, what this does not reflect, because we run on a cash accrual system, it does not reflect the continued payments, contributions for the LEC that we have continued to receive after July 1st, because the cash accrual system only goes month to month. What I would like to report is that when we did the LEC installation, we moved $5,000 from our savings account into the bank account account to cover the expense for that. We have now replaced that $5,000 in the savings account, thanks to everyone's generosity and the wonderful gifts that have been provided to build up that fund for that amount of money that we spent. So overall, we did very, very well with our expenses, and everything that was over expense could be accounted for very easily. Anybody have any questions about that? Or do you want to, let's wait until we get to the Q&A section, and then we can get it all out. So if you got anything, make notes. Go ahead to the next slide. So we continued to give community gifts, and we gave to our foster kids of Josephine County, we gave to Rogue Valley Symphony, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, Middle Rogue Steelheaders, Southern Oregon Aspire, Family Nurturing Center, Wildlife Images, Grace Roots, the Grants Pass YMCA. We gave some to the practitioner fund here to support the practitioners, to allow them to expand their educational process. And also, of course, we gave some to the LEC and Air Conditioning and Heat Fund. So we continue with our community gifts this year. The difference is that the board decided in the new budget that we would give a standard $100 a month gift to a community service organization. Instead of, we were doing a 5% to our home office as a tithe, and we were doing 5% to the community. So it became pretty apparent that some of these organizations were getting more than others because our monthly donations varied. And so somebody might get $300 and somebody might get $200 and somebody might get $500, depending on what our donations were. So the board made the decision to return to integrity in our tithing process, and we are now giving 10% to CSL Home Office to support everything that they're doing there to support us. And there have been a lot of changes and a lot of growth and expansion, and I can tell you that since we made that 10% transition in July 1st, we have already seen an increase in our donations here. So it's very interesting how that tithing thing works, but that's a talk for Reverend Stevens someday, not here. In the meantime, we will continue to give a standard community gift of $100 a month to the organizations that you all suggest and put in the suggestion box for us to be able to send a contribution to. The criteria for that is that it must be Josephine County that we support, so we don't go out of the county and do other things. So, on to the next budget. So, our 2019-2020 budget, our projected operating revenue is $102,200. So you can see we bumped that up a little bit. We expect to have the growth to support that. And I expect that we're going to see well beyond that revenue by the time we get to June 30th of next year with the growth and prosperity consciousness that everyone here enjoys. So our expense budget includes more money for maintenance, possible planned and emergency building repairs that we have considered. And there's also some wider margins for some routine expenses that were identified as underexpensed on the previous budget, including the congregational enrichment and activities. And along that line, I have to say, the Activities Committee did a superb job of putting on the feed today so that we had the meeting. And as that continues, we will continue to have more wonderful events. We keep having great events here. I want to say that right now we have a tentative date for the Christmas party on December 13th. And yes, it's a Friday the 13th, and we just don't care. So you can mark that on your calendar, and we expect that to be the date. So I'm going to ask if you have any questions about any of the financial or statistical reports at this time, and then we'll save the rest of the Q&A for later. Does anybody have any questions?
So it appeared at the last frame that there was a deficit of about $8,000 as of July 1st. Has that been completely repaid, or are we also looking at that? How's that work?
Well, this is very difficult because it's a cash accrual system that we run. So we go month to month to month. So it would appear that we were not, that we had a deficit, but as it goes from month to month, it changes and it irons out. It's not a static thing. This is probably one of the hardest things for corporate or business budgeting to really comprehend, because in your home budget, you have a certain amount of money that comes in every month, and you have a certain amount that goes out, and you don't spend above or beyond unless you plan for it. So you plan for the things that happen. In this environment, we can sometimes plan for things that happen. There are times that we can't plan for things that happen. So when that happens, because we go month to month to month to month with a variable revenue income stream, everything balances out over the course of the year. It appears that there was an $8,000 deficit, but there was not, because we put back money into the savings account. So, and in that regard, if you look at the financials are posted every month after they're approved at the board meeting for the month prior, because we don't see things until the month later. And the same thing is there for the minutes of the board meetings. They're posted every month for the previous month after we approve them at this month's meeting. So the $8,000 is a number that I have to report, but it's totally irrelevant to today, right now, this minute, because we run cash accrual, not the other one, and I don't remember the name of the other one. Anybody else have a question? Tony?
What is the current balance in our checking account?
So in the savings account, in the savings account right now, we have about $54,000. It's like 53 and change, because the $5,000 was replaced. We also have an additional amount, I think is $7,000. I'd have to look at the financials on the board. And the checking account is like $4,000 as of Friday when I looked at it. But that changes, because we will have deposits today for tomorrow from the donations today. So it's always a very fluid thing. And I think one of the hardest things for leadership, and certainly the board that is functioning right now, has really come to an alignment on how our money moves and where it goes and what we're doing with it, and understanding that it is all very fluid, and that when we look at something, it doesn't reflect accurate income or expense at that moment in time. I can't tell you that, because it changes from month to month. Let's just say somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500 a month, a week. Yeah, I would say that's probably as much of an average as not. And it's actually better than that. And some months are higher and some months are lower. So that's the tricky part of it. What I do know is that we always have more than enough for everything we want, need, or desire in this center. And that we have individuals who continue to contribute and give and tithe, and that they live with prosperity consciousness, and we live in a prosperous environment. And that's evidenced by our financials, by our growth of individuals, our growth in our congregational members. That's really what we look for in a healthy center is, are we growing? And yes, we are. And yes, we're expanding out. And that's the true marker of where we're at, because the finances follow. So you have a very strong leadership team with a very strong prosperity consciousness, and that's in part to our spiritual leader, Stephen. He has very strong prosperity consciousness, and so we share that, and we share that with you, every one of you. So there you go. Anybody else with questions? Cal?
past, we've had a line item change for something, but how much is
Well, the budget, so every month, the financials are put up there. I did not put in the light item budget this time because, well, there's two reasons. Number one, I wanted to save on paper. And number two, we had a power issue last week, as some of you may be well aware of. Everything was knocked out. We could barely use the copier to get these packets together. And so there wasn't a way to do the budget and print a budget for revenue and expense projected for the entire year. Anybody who would like that, I will email it to you, but it is always, 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 every month posted for the previous month on the board, and it shows the line item of expenses and the line item of revenue. So it's there for you to see. It's publicly posted every month. Does that help? Okay, all righty. There isn't, when I became the board president, I made a commitment to transparency in every activity that we do here. And I wanted everyone, as did all of the board members at that time, to be able to have people have faith and know that their leadership was leading in integrity. And so if you feel at any time that there's a piece of information that you're not getting, please let me know, please let Reverend Stephen know, please let any board member know, because it is our commitment to be transparent in all of our activities. And to let you know, we get up and do announcements so everybody knows what's happening. I want everybody to know, whatever they need to know. The other part is that you have the bumper sticker in your packet. Yes, you do. And so there are going to be bumper stickers on sale in the bookstore within the next week or two. It may not be next Sunday, but it will definitely be the Sunday thereafter. They'll be $1 a piece, and you can buy extras if you want them, and so they'll be there. But we wanted to make sure all of our membership got bumper stickers first. Okay, it was real important, but there'll be extras. We've got plenty. So there you go. Anybody else have other questions? Oh, and just so you know, there is going to be unexpected expense because the power outage last week zapped the computer, it zapped our router, it zapped the phone system, and so we have taken this opportunity to switch to Spectrum as a carrier for our phone and internet because we're going to have much faster internet service. And we have a fellow here in our congregation, our membership, Clinton, who... Oh, wow. So, thank you. Thank you. So we had asked Clinton to get certain parts of things for us because he knew the technology and everything. So thank you very much. That's a very lovely, see what I mean about prosperity consciousness in this place? Yeah. Thank you very much. So anyway, that's why you didn't have an insert this week. You will have an insert next week. We haven't given up on the inserts, but it was, production-wise, it was very challenging to try to provide the usual stuff for everybody. You had free lunch, yes. No insert, but you got free hugs, free lunch, you got it all, yeah. So it's all good. That's great. So we did have some electrical challenges, but they are being resolved, and we will have phone and internet and everything back up by Wednesday night. Anything else for business right now? That's it? All right, Stephen, it's yours.
Great, thank you. Let's hear it for Nancy. Yes, she does a wonderful job in our board. Is there any past board members here? We'd like to acknowledge all the board members. If you've ever served on a board, could you just stand up so we can acknowledge you? Because if you've served on a board here, we are the shoulder, we stand on your shoulders because you got here and you got us here. I mean, I'm sure that there were many challenges before my appearance on the scene, but thank you, Nancy, and thank you, present board members. We just, it's great that we have 3 open positions, and the 3 people that are here to fill those positions are already doing their job, so it's a perfect, smooth transition. But I wanted to just bring your awareness to a couple of the numbers on this sheet. This was in your stuff, and it's the 17 new members. That's just for this year.
That's awesome.
That's really powerful. For a church this size, this is an incredible number. That's an increase of 18%. That's just wow, I mean, and we didn't do any okay, we're going to do a membership drive, we attract. And that's the beauty of who we are. We don't have to go door to door and say, have you been saved or anything not that there's anything wrong with that, but we don't, that's not the way we do it. But and our average attendance is 70. Wow. That's so cool. That's so cool. I just want to really be happy about those numbers, because a church this size is, in this small community, I mean, we're doing great things. We're really doing great things. And we are a teaching center. And boy, if you didn't want to, take a class, boy, it's not our fault if you're bored. Because we have classes and we teach classes. And I'll get right into my report. And I want to start with our new vision mission statement. And Sherry, thank you for bringing the vision in consciousness. It's already been here, but she was instrumental in saying, I want to do visioning on a regular basis. And from that, we pooled the community. We had everybody come here and put in for this vision mission statement. Let's just read it really quick. It's the first thing on my report. It says, Grants Pass Center, come on everybody, Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living is an open, loving, spiritual community dedicated to evolving consciousness through teaching spiritual principles. And that's what we do. We have classes here, and people may say, well, what's your outreach? Our outreach is that we have classes here, and we are a teaching chapter, and we are living up to that by having so many classes available. But we do outreach. We do provide a service to the community in the form of, our $100 that we're giving out to a charitable contribution of your choice. And we really love it when you come forward, so we don't have to go out and try to figure out what you guys would want us to do with your $100 every month. So please, if you have something that you want to give to, put it in the suggestion box, and there is criteria as far as being in Josephine County, and as far as a certain time limit that we can't give to the same place 3 months in a row or a year. We try to spread it out so that it is something that serves the community. Okay? So, yes, and I'm going to get to that right in my part of my report. Yeah, we do. What I decided to do when I got here, because I wanted to serve the food bank and have the spiritual cinema circle that is on hiatus right now for the summer months, was that money, 100% of the money that we receive, and this is how it's always been, but we ask that if you want to see the spiritual cinema, you give $1 or $2 or bring a canned good, which has upped our giving to that, because you get a movie and they get, the benefit of you wanting to see that movie. So, but it's not a have to, it's a get to. If anybody wants to come see the movie and doesn't have $1 or a can to give, it's okay, we don't throw you out. But that has given a lot of energy and upped what we give to we are an ongoing contributor now as part of our outreach, and we get something back. We get a great spiritual movie, okay? So, as you can see, the class facilitators, Sherry Davis, Deborah Perdue, Nancy Bankston, Karen Jordan, and myself have taught classes. And we are opening it up to any practitioner who wants to teach classes to discuss that with us so that we can move forward having more classes. Because we are, being a teaching chapter, this is what we do. So we are teaching. We did have a practitioner retreat that was facilitated by Reverend Dr. Guy Williams, and we got to benefit from that in that we kept him a day longer, and he gave the Sunday service, which, if you remember, was incredible. So thanks again to Sherry for setting that up. She's a wonderful practitioner coordinator, so thank you. Let's hear it for Sherry. Thank you. So Sherry's also assisting. What we do is we do a visioning, and I've asked her to facilitate them so that I can, instead of facilitating it, be part of the visioning as it happens. And she's agreed that she'll do her own private visioning to be part of it so that her input is part of the collective. But we have now visioned for our bookstore, our youth program, the music department, and we are going to be visioning for our practitioners in the next month. And every aspect of our center is going to be visioned on. This is just how we do business now. When we do a visioning process, we allow everybody to be part of it, and we listen to catch the infinite's input, because that's what visioning is. So we pool our resources and open ourselves to the infinity of divinity by having awesome visioning process, which comes up with like our vision mission statement. So we're doing that for every aspect of our center now. We have 2 ministerial students. We have new member orientations that happen twice a year. And then what's that?
Next one is November.
Next one is November. And then the Sunday after our orientation, we have New Member Sunday, where we bring the new members up and introduce them and give them a certificate. And then we do our little ritual where the congregation agrees to support them and they agree to support our congregation. The first Sunday movie matinee, which is also the potluck. Movie donations support our food bank. I did provide a grief recovery group that ran for several months, and there wasn't a great sign up for it, so that was diminished. But if we want to start that up again, if there's a request for that, the suggestion box is your key to your contact with your board. And in your packets is my business card. You can call, you can text, you can email, you can call, or you can text, or you can email. Or you can come see me and just make an appointment with me. I have been doing, because of our increase, I have been doing a lot more out in the community, meeting people at their homes, meeting at my home. I'm still meeting here for the people that want to do that, but I'm not here on a scheduled basis because I'm doing things out in the world. So make an appointment with me, and we can meet here. But I am ultra busy, but I'm never too busy for you. Any of you that I have contacted or have contacted me know that I get back to you within 24 hours, and we meet on your schedule, even if it's my day off, because, the minister's day off is when they rest. When they don't answer their cell phone, that's when their day off is. But I arrange my schedule to be available to you when you need me, because life doesn't happen just, Tuesday through Thursday or whatever. Life happens all the time, and I'm here for you. Also, what's not on this list is our Kindness Club. There's a couple things that didn't get on my list, like the women's dinner stuff. the soul sister supper situation. But there are opportunities for you. So always look at that love in action thing, and I completely support, if the guys want to do a group, I'm open to that too. The mom group, the Men of Metaphysics, MOM. If you want to start that, let's do it, Or we could call it something else, we don't have to call it that. But I'm open to starting a group for the men. And I think it would be cool if we met one Sunday a month after church and just talk about, guy metaphysics. Hey, the girls get to talk about their Super Supper Club metaphysics, whatever that happens there. I haven't been invited, so, and I won't be, and that's okay with me because I want you all to express how you do it. But the Kindness Club has been wonderful in that they are serving an element that they're on their own deciding what in the community serves the community with kindness. And we're inviting now the congregation that you don't have to be part of the club to give to the club. That's what the whole box in the back is about. When we have something we're giving to each month, and I am part of the Kindness Club, that we decide what it is together that's best going to serve the community, and then we introduce it to our congregation so you can bring stuff that we're serving. This month is the Humane Society, or is it the Animal Shelter? So there's all sorts of things you can bring, and just know that we're reaching out. We're doing things in this community. If you have something that you want in this community to give to, again, that little box back there is your key to contacting us. That, you don't have to sign it and tell us who you are, what you're doing, but we appreciate it because usually we have questions for more details. We want to know more. So if we do have questions, we want to contact you. Now, does every single thing that gets put in there, we do? Not necessarily. We bring it to the board, we talk about it, we discuss how it affects the community, how it affects our center, is it a correct giving, depending on our bylaws or whatever, and we go from there. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. So our Care Angel group is ongoing. Sunday morning book study. And then there was supposed to be, on a different line, group practitioner monthly meetings where we alternate between the months business and prayer. So what we do is 1 month the practitioners meet about business of practitioners, and the next month we just pray together individually, because a group that prays together stays together and prays together more. And I invite, the practitioners who want to become master practitioners. I'm offering a program for that and a way to identifiably be a practitioner in our community. So I'm just opening it up to the practitioners. Several have already signed up for that, and it's a way that I can work with you one-on-one on a more regular basis. It's about becoming or having a mentor that you work with. And it can be me, or it can be whoever you want it to be, practitioners, okay? We have Thursday afternoon music coordination meetings. Really, that's our rehearsal time, where the Spirit Sound comes together to, they just don't show up on Sunday mornings and sometimes they do, but it takes planning to do what we do on Sunday, to coordinate everything, and it takes several people to get it online, to coordinate the prayer, to coordinate the music, to coordinate the giving affirmation. All the things, if you look at what we do on a Sunday, there is a theme that runs through it. And we try to coordinate everything together. Yeah, you had a question? Sure.
Just because I wanted to shout out, the Sunday morning book study is a profound experience.
It's awesome.
Yes.
I just wanna say that. And
Yes.
I want to thank Karen
Sure.
for taking all that
Absolutely.
on, and,
Absolutely.
It's just one of the most wonderful planned experiences.
Thank you.
I just had to say something.
And we will be opening the floor after this for stuff like that, but I saw the hand, I didn't want it to go unnoticed. Yes, that, and again, when I first came here, I was not attending that group. It was one of, just another group that I had to know about. So I came to know about it, and I've come ever since, because once you find out how powerful this group is, you don't want to miss it. It is an incredible group. If you want to have a service before the Sunday service and have time, we're studying a wonderful book, and we study other books, but right now is it's just incredible. And again, a shout out to Wilma and actually what she explained to me, that it was the previous, not Reverend Michelle, but Reverend Clay, who started this 20 years ago. And when he left, Wilma picked it up and ran with it, and it became this even bigger. It's coming, it's breathed membership in and out, but it's still breathing and well alive. And thank you, Karen, for the energy and the time that you spend with us on Sunday to guide us through that material, because it's incredible. Okay, music coordination meetings. We have a Christmas party every year, and I've expanded, not just are we having good eats, which Michelle Pedrida and the others that put that on are incredible food. We eat like kings and queens. I mean, don't you like the Christmas party? And then we have our little gift exchange fund that I threw in there. And yes, well, music and Christmas music is like, come on, right? Okay, so the Spiritual Gardeners have had several fundraising events, and we're really looking at bringing some more people into the Spiritual Gardeners. So if you have ever considered gardening at this center, now's the time to come back or come into the group, because, excuse me, we're just looking for more people to help, more hands make light work. And, we just want to expand that. We just want to make sure that the grounds are kept in a style and manner that reflects our consciousness. And this is an awesome place, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful? I mean, before one of my first visits here, I was just observing with love. I drove by and I was like, that's got to be the church. That's got to be the church, and it was just this, you all know, you guys have all probably been attracted here before you were, members. But there's something that happens here. It's not just the garden, but the garden's a great, people in the neighborhood have come here just because of our garden. So we do need some assistance with that. So that'd be great. And all of our Save Us stuff, all this stuff is stuff that you guys do. And if you have felt drawn to do more of it, please, we have 70 people on Sunday, and it takes a village. So let's play together. Spiritual Gardeners and the Zen Garden is ongoing. This year we said goodbye to our lovely Wilma, and had a wonderful memorial for her. And if you came to that, boy, she was here giving her own service. And because we did use her service for the service, she had written her own service in practitioner training, and I just get goosebumps because, okay. She is definitely still here. She is definitely still here, and I hear her giving me her one-liners. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Oh, yeah. So we do have a I do minister quarterly meetings with the ministers in the area, where we go either to Roseburg or to Eugene, and we meet and we pray together, basically. We don't really talk a lot of shop, other than us ministers get to be people together, and it's important for us to keep that community going. We've done the women's clothing exchange, and that continues to go on. We're so due, yes. Yes, our closet's overflowing. Yes, John?
In the past, we've done an auction, or we've done...
Yes, we have one coming up. We do. We do have another auction coming up.
It's on the board, exactly.
Yeah, it's on the, if you look at the calendar in the meeting room, it's up there somewhere. Yeah. And we have our new Sunday programs. Aren't these delicious? Aren't they beautiful? I mean, it really represents, it's just, I mean, they were beautiful before. I mean, but it's just a new level of recycling, and it does reflect our beautiful, our little, branding, that we're kind of all inclusive. Yes?
The auction is scheduled for October 20th.
October 20th. There's your auction, and we'll be talking about what items are appropriate and what are, not. We don't want your stuff that you don't want anymore, that you don't want because it's no good. We want the stuff that you want to move on to a higher consciousness. We'll put it that way, So, and that's not the complete list of everything that we have done in the last year, but those are the bullet points I'm hitting on. We have a new, in the LEC, we have a new heating and air conditioning situation over there. Thank you. My office now, instead of being, while it's 100 outside, 100 in my office, or 40 outside, 40 in my office, I can regulate, and for the workers in the office, get to regulate their temperature, and for when we have any group meeting in the LEC, which makes our LEC a little more attractive to people who want to rent it during those times of the year when you need AC and heat. So it cost us, but we paid ourselves back because you guys stepped up, and we're still having that fundraising ongoing to pay ourselves back the full $9,000 that it cost us, okay? So it's still ongoing. Please continue to give because we want to pay ourselves back fully for that. And there have been some very generous contributions, some big, large sums that have helped us really get closer to paying ourselves back. So thank you to those anonymous individuals, and you know who you are, for helping us do that. So where are we going? What are we doing? Oh man, to the top, to the very top, and beyond. We are growing by leaps and bounds. This center is moving forward and is growth-oriented. Ongoing classes, workshops, events, and community spiritual enrichment. For new students on the practitioner track, several classes are ongoing and several other classes are planned for the fall-winter term. We have a new vision mission statement, which we read together, and we will be visioning for several other departments, and we will continue ongoing visioning. We are an open at the top center. For a minister, my job is to hold the space so you can come and have a spiritual experience. And you guys are doing much more than that. You're assuring others who are attracted to this have a spiritual experience by being a spiritual family, by encouraging those that are new to go say hello to them and welcome to our community. It makes a difference when we all welcome each other, doesn't it? So thank you. I mean, when I was first coming here, we had 40 or 45, 50 people, and now we're up to 70, 75 is the normal, or 70. And that's really because something's happening here. Sure, yeah, I talk. But I feed off of what you guys want me to say. I'm here, I'm a demonstration of your consciousness. So it's because of your desire to have a spiritual community like this that you have it. So thank you for being here.
So, there was one other item on the agenda. The other really big ticket item on the agenda that you saw is that we...
Let's go ahead and use the mic since we're recording.
Yep. Okay. So it can go on the web for everybody who couldn't be here today. So the other thing, woo, I thought I was in a saloon that I once frequented for a minute. It's like, whoa. Okay. The other thing on the agenda that's important is that we are going to have the interior of the sanctuary painted this fall, winter. Now, we had a consultant come in and give professional advice on colors that would be appropriate because of our furnishings, our carpet, our stage decor and everything. In the next, I would say over the next month, there's going to be a display back there with the 3 colors that are the top choice for our interior. Everybody will get to vote on them just like we did the exterior. And there'll be a thing back there where you can put your votes in. It's just going to be 3 separate colors. We're going to do the whole thing in the same color all the way through, no matter where it is. And once we pick that color, then we're going to have the painting done in the late fall or winter because we've been advised that that is when we can actually get the best prices for folks who do painting. And if we can save some money, that's okay too. So we can look forward to a brand new interior as we go into winter and start our new year with brand new insides here. So does anybody have any questions for the board, for Stephen? Any comments that you'd like to make? Oh, and the other thing that I wanted to say is that the board voted unanimously to renew Stephen's letter of call. So he's not going anywhere very soon. And we did that because we recognize the need for stability, for leadership in our center. And while none of us can meet every need of each other, Stephen meets needs across the board that reach more people that need to be reached. And so it was without question that we did this, and I can tell that you're okay with it. So we are stable, he's stable, and life goes on. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or anything? Chris?
So I have 2. One, I just want to thank this church and the board and Christians and everyone. It's such a wonderful, loving community, and I just feel so grateful every single day for this center. So the other thing I wanted to give a shout out to is the music department, which was really expanded and needed visioning, and I just feel like we have this tremendous loving musical group that loves to express itself, and we're growing, and I appreciate the opportunity because there's lots of musicality, and so we get together and we have so much fun, and it's just been really also so much part of this spiritual experience. I want to shout out.
You know, I think that music is the voice of God singing through every individual, whether we can hold and carry a tune or not. It is that harmony of life that is the thread that connects everyone when words sometimes just don't make it. So music has been very valuable ever since I've been here. I love it. We have expanded. People have had opportunities to grow, and I am so happy personally to see all of this happening. It's just delightful. So thank you for that comment. Jeanette. Well, thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm honored to hear that. Thank you very much for the compliment, Jeanette, that I make you look good. I think that everybody here makes me look good, and I believe that the team of leadership in our board right now could not be better. It's a wonderful, cohesive group of people, and we are here to serve you. And so it is with that high consciousness that's demonstrated by everyone here that we reflect your good back to you. Thank you. Anybody else? Valentina.
I just want to make a comment about watching the community grow. When I came in 2007, we had a small little community, and now when I see it, and I sitting in the back, I get to see all the people in this center, and it's such a blessing to watch. And with all of these people, it's a miracle. I mean, and that's because of the consciousness of the people that are helping keep this place moving forward and doing such a great job at having it move forward and attracting, all of us are attracting new members. It's such a great place to be. I wouldn't give it.
Wouldn't either personally, so I can understand that. Anybody else? All righty. Stephen, would you like to benedict us out of here?
Absolutely. So
Hey,
once
and this is good. It's just barely an hour. It's going to be one.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I don't like to go longer than an hour.
I fall asleep.
I get antsy. But we would go as long as it needs to go, because this is my spiritual family. So thank you all for being here today and supporting yourselves through your commitment to this teaching and to your spiritual growth. So let's just bring ourselves to center. How good it is to know that what is needed to be said has been said. That God, Source Energy, is speaking, and is speaking as the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living and this awesome community. So I bless each individual who is here and who may not be presently here is blessed. We carry this into the rest of our day, into the rest of our week, into the rest of our lives and lifetimes, because we are expanding. We are growing in love, and love abounds. So we give great thanks for that love. And we release that love into the universe where it is returned multifaceted. Letting go and letting God, knowing the truth, placing these words directly into the law with love, we affirm it together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you all. Blessings.